Hey guys! Welcome to my channel and welcome to another house building video. In this video we're continuing the tiny houses that I built a couple of days ago. I am doing the interior of the first and second house in this part. I wanted to do all of them, but it really took me a long time and I didn't want this video to be too long, so I cut it off at 2. So there'll be a part 3 for this series. And the reason it probably took me so long is because it's actually quite a challenge to get everything to work, and you also need to test it. Like the bathroom, I wanted to make it as small as possible. So that meant shoving the sink into the wall and moving everything around, and then going into lift mode like I'm doing now and seeing if everything still works, if you can take a shower, if you can use the sink, and if you can use the toilet. I'm also using my League of Legends sim that I created, so if you want to see that video, the link will be in the eye in the corner. And if you're worried that this is going to be too repetitive, it's probably not, because I want every single one of these houses to have its own personality. So this house actually has a little family living in there. 3 Sims can live here. I was thinking maybe like 2 people and their child, maybe a teen. It could be a teen. The room is not necessarily meant for a child, but a child could sleep there. And also a teen, so whatever, if you want to use this house, you can move in whatever you want. And the second house that I'm creating today is more like a honeymoon suite sort of thing. Very romantic, lots of candles, and made for 2 people. And there will be lots of things moving around, trying to fit in smaller spaces to make room for more stuff. Since it is a tiny home, so we don't have a lot of space to work with. So for example, I just moved the bathroom around a little so I could fit the door in somewhere else, which meant that I could put the seating corner, which is under the stairs, which is also a room saver, in the corner next to the door there. So it's all the way moved over, so there's room for a kitchen in here. In this house we have 2 bedrooms, a living room, a kitchen, a bathroom, and if you want to eat something at a table, the table will be outside. All of these houses do have tables outside. I did put a dining table inside the honeymoon whatever house, I guess. But that's for a different reason. Probably none of the other ones will have a dining table. Except maybe for the one I make for one person, because obviously that does save a lot of space. So maybe I can actually fit a dining table in there. Because since there's 4 houses, I want to have different sizes, families, households living in every single one of them. So this is for 3 Sims. The one I make next is for 2 Sims. So I have to make one for 1 sim and one for 4 sims. I have no idea how I'm going to do that, but it's going to be a challenge. There might need to be a bed downstairs or something. I honestly don't know how I'm going to pull it off, but I have to. And as you can see, I moved the bathroom around again, so there's more space for the kitchen. One of the problems I have is that I don't know if they can use a corner counter for chopping things up. I'm not sure if they can. So if I want to put in a stove, a fridge, a counter space, and a sink, that actually takes up a lot of space. So that's what I was sort of struggling with at this point. I honestly don't know how I fixed it. I might have just went with the corner thing and hoped it worked. Maybe. I'm not sure, but there's not a lot of room in this house apartment thing. Also, you might have noticed that the window at the front suddenly turned black on the inside. I'm not sure how that happened. I thought it might be a light thing that was not working, but I don't know. I couldn't fix it. So it's staying black for now. I don't know if it's going to be white again if I open it again, but for now it's black. I'm sorry. And the last thing I'm doing on the ground floor is painting the walls, putting some decorations in, a painting above the chair in the corner there, some flowers on the wall just to have a little more detail to it, especially because there's not a lot of room for other decorations than the walls, so I might as well decorate the walls. And then I'm moving on to upstairs, and that was a bit of a problem. Well, not a problem, more like a challenge. First of all, there is a bathroom upstairs. I put that in the last time I built this, but I didn't record it. But I moved the bathroom downstairs, so you didn't miss anything. It's just going to be removed. But I wanted 2 bedrooms in there, and 1 double bed and 1 single bed. And it's pretty much impossible to get 1 double bed in there. And then we also need another bed. I wanted 2 bedrooms in that little space that is maybe even too small for 1 bedroom. So I tried lots of things. I tried putting a little hallway there, and it just wasn't working. So in the end, I made 2 bedrooms, but you have to walk through the main bedroom to get to the teen or child bedroom, if that makes any sense. Also tested it out, you can actually use that bed, so that's a good thing, because then we have a use for the little corner next to the stairs there. And I actually took a little break between filming here, and you can see me struggling with the bed and being like, why doesn't it fit here? Why doesn't it want to go in the corner? I don't understand. Yeah, that's because when you close your game, it doesn't keep the BB Move object key, so you have to put it in again, but I didn't realize for a really long time. So as you can see, I'm now thinking of the idea of just not making a hallway, actually, and having the person who sleeps in the single bed walk through the main bedroom to get to there, because honestly I couldn't think of any other way to fix that. So I'm sorry if that bothers you, but I mean, yeah, I sort of had to. Okay, so normally I sort of prepare a couple of stories for my voiceovers, because you don't always want to talk about the build, but I thought that would be enough interesting stuff happening in this one to talk the entire time about the build, but there isn't. So I'm going to tell you a story that I always tell sort of new people I meet when we talk for a little while. I mean, I don't always tell them, but if the topics comes up, this is like one of my go-to stories of the conversation. Just sort of goes dull. You know, when that happens, you just don't know what to talk about anymore, and it's kind of awkward. So if we're sort of on topic, I'll tell this story because it's really funny. Okay, so in the Netherlands, we have a sort of similar thing to Christmas, where there is a made-up person, and your parents tell them he's real, but he's not, you know? Like Santa. Only we have our own Dutch version of that. And I was maybe like, I don't know, 6 when this happened? Was I 6, 7? I'm not sure. I was young, very young when this happened. And it was sort of around the time that you learn what having a crush on someone means. Just literally the definition. And it's like the time where everyone's like, I'm gonna have a crush on someone now because I want to. So I chose at random one of the guys, and I was convinced that I was just in love with him, which obviously I wasn't. So we were standing in the hallway. It was the end of the school day. And we were putting on our coats, and I saw him standing there, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to tell him. So I walk over to him, and I open my mouth to say something, and he's like, do you know that Sinterklaas, which is the Dutch version of Santa, isn't real? And I just stand there like, what? I didn't know what to say and what he was talking about, so I just sort of stare at him, and he continues like, yeah, no, it's just your parents. They buy you gifts, not Sinterklaas. Dutch version of Santa again. And that is like the tragic story of how I figured out that the Dutch thing. It's so difficult to explain this if you're not Dutch. If you are, you're like, why are you explaining this so many times? And if you aren't, you're probably like, what are you talking about? But it's basically the same thing as Santa. So basically, that's the tragic story of how I figured out that the Dutch version of Santa isn't real. Which is probably one of the most devastating ways to figure that out, because you not only ruined the moment that I was so confident in that I was going to tell him. Well, actually, maybe I should be glad, because that wouldn't have ended up going okay. So maybe it was like perfect timing. Now I'm thinking about it. You know, I was 6, so whatever. I feel like it takes a really long time for people to be able to talk about embarrassing things that happened to them. And I feel like more than 10 years is enough. But if something happened like 2 years ago, I'm like, no, I'm not talking about it. Actually, there's something that I find really funny. And it only happened like a couple of years ago. But I still think it's really funny and not embarrassing at all. But, I mean, I could see how it could be embarrassing. But I'm really good at laughing at myself. Okay, so now I'm talking about this. So I'm just going to tell this story. Okay, so basically it was a couple of years ago and I was still in high school. It might have only been like 1 or 2 years ago. It's not that long ago. But it was the end of a school day and we are in really big, I want to say classrooms, but they're not really that. It's like 100 people sitting in one area. So when school is over, they all leave through the same door in the same area. So there's like about probably like 50 people standing there. Half of them would probably already have gone or still in the room, whatever. There's like 50 people standing there, right? And I am done with school, so I take my coat, I put it on, and I walk through the door. And this is like a door, a glass door with windows next to it. And then the middle section is the part you walk through. So normally you just walk through that door and that's it, you know? Like you always walk through doors. I'm not sure why I explained that. But instead of me just walking through that door, my foot actually got caught behind one of the windows. So I just went straight down. But obviously it's not a nice thing to fall on your face. So I sort of just turned and just fell on my back. And I was just laying there like, what the hell just happened? Because it was very fast. And these 50 people are all staring at me like, what the hell just happened? And I just started laughing. And my friends are nowhere to be found. They probably would help me or start laughing or anything. But they're already gone, or I don't know, maybe they weren't at school at that time. So my friends are nowhere to be found. So there's just this random people that I don't know staring at me, laying on the ground, laughing hysterically because I thought it was the most funny thing ever. And I think they didn't know what to do. They didn't know if they had to start laughing or ask me if I was okay. So I just got up, still laughing, and walked away, leaving them staring at me like, I don't know what just happened. Honestly, me neither, but I thought it was the most funny thing ever. So as you can see, I started working on the second house, the yellow house this time. And because this is more like a honeymoon or I don't know, like a married couple maybe, just out for a special trip or whatever. I wanted this house to look a little more luxurious. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that. I hope so. And a little more romantic. So yes, I did put rose petals on the floor next to the bath, and I put a lot of. This house is basically just lit by candles, and that's it. There's very few lights around. It's either natural light from the windows or candle light. And I think it looks really romantic and really pretty, and I would never want to stay there because it's just too overdone. First of all, I would freak out because there's candles everywhere and I'm really bad with fire, and what if one of them falls over? But this is The Sims, so we don't need to worry about that. But if this was real life, I would never stay here. Not once in my life would I want to stay there. It's just too overdone but I thought it was really funny, and I could see that people actually would want to stay there. I mean, if they're into the like really, really romantic stuff, maybe they would want to go there on their honeymoon or something. You know, if you take away the fact that there's like 3 more houses next to it with families, so it's not really private. But let's say this house was just somewhere in the woods, on its own, and there's no internet, and there's not a lot of stuff to do. That is on itself is pretty romantic, because you really do need to spend time with each other. There's no way around that. I mean, you can read, but the other person would probably also be reading, because what else would you be doing there? So I think that is romantic, but I honestly, the way this house is decorated is kind of a joke and just kind of a fun thing to do, since I did want to give every single house a different personality, so some of these are a bit too overdone. I guess decorating something like this is more a modern version of romance, if that makes any sense. I'm not sure. But I like more fairy tale like romance. I like very simple things. I mean, it's not like I have a lot of opportunity to be romantic because I'm single AF, but but I guess if I wasn't, I would like more. I mean, I don't really need to go somewhere or have something special happen. I think like little moments are more romantic. Just, I don't know. I don't know how to explain this. This makes me uncomfortable. Maybe I shouldn't talk about this. Actually, scratch that. I do want to go somewhere, and that place is Disney World. Because no matter what situation it is, it will always be better in Disney World. And isn't Disney World the most romantic place in the world? I mean, there's lots of people there, but imagine being there at night when the park is empty. Oh my god. Okay, it might be a little creepy too. Or just being there in the day when it's not as busy as it usually is, like off season. I think I saw a video somewhere, or maybe someone showed me, where you can sort of rent the park at nighttime when everyone is gone and you can have dinner in front of the castle. I don't know how that would work because the park is open until really late, so you would have a really late dinner. But I think they actually ride you through Main Street in a carriage and then you have dinner. It might have just been a dream because that sounds too good to be true. But imagine that, riding in a carriage through Main Street like a Cinderella-like carriage, and then having dinner in front of the castle and then sleeping in. I'm pretty sure they have like one room in the castle that you can actually book if you get engaged or something like that. Imagine that. Just all of that. That is, I mean, still a little bit overdone, I'm sorry, but it's the most romantic thing I can think of. But I am a really big Disney fan, so maybe everything that involves Disney and someone I'm dating would be romantic. Literally anything. And this has been a while back, and it's completely off topic, but it's something I thought about. I did the question thing on Twitter a while back, asking people if they would want to see a second channel, and almost every single person said yes, which is really cool. I honestly, I really appreciate that. I don't know if anyone who's watching this has voted on Twitter or follows me on Twitter. If you don't, not link, but my name is in the description. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to. It's just some sort of story time. But anyway, I did that on Twitter, and since not everyone who follows me on YouTube follows me on Twitter, I thought I did do the same question on here too. So the question will be in the eye in the corner, and it is: would you like to see me create a second channel where I do vlogs and covers? Because if you haven't seen my Hamilton series, I like to sing. And I think I'm sort of decent at singing, because otherwise I wouldn't torture people with doing covers. I mean, I hope so. I hope I'm not doing that. That's awful. But anyway, doing covers and maybe talking about things I like. Just doing like talky videos, because that's not always appropriate to go on this channel. I don't think you can do vlogs and covers and things like that on a Sims channel or a game channel, because I want to do different games, but mainly a Sims channel, because my name is Sim Storytime, so why wouldn't it be? I don't think that's a good place for it. So if you do want to see me create a second channel, which is going to be a while before I do that, because I need to really be sure that I know how to do this channel, and I don't know, I just have to feel like I know what I'm doing and I have enough time to create a second channel. I don't want to be one of those people who creates a second channel and then just abandons it after a couple of weeks. No shade at anyone, by the way. I'm not trying to accuse someone, but you probably see it happen before. And I don't want to do that. I think that's not fair for the people who are excited about me creating a second channel, sort of teasing them with new videos and different videos and then just abandon it completely. I don't want to do that, and also it takes some time because I need to think of a name and create new channel art and make more videos, obviously. Actually figure out how to do the filming me thing. Because, you know, I know how to do game videos and film my screen and record my screen and record voiceovers and do all of that, but it's a whole different thing to actually have my face in it, and you need to have decent lighting. So it's it's something that's going to take a while to figure out, but before I start doing that, I want to know if people are interested. Actually, I don't really need people to be that interested in it. I'm just curious to see if anyone is. I think I'm doing it anyway, honestly. You know, do what you love, do what you want to do. Sort of listen to people sometimes, but choose who you listen to carefully. I think it's more important to listen to people that you respect and that you like than to listen to random people on the internet. Okay, so as you can see, I'm now putting in the last thing in the second house, the last house I'm doing in this video, and that's a lovely little dining table, because I feel like that's important in a romantic house. But that's it for this video, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Goodbye!